What's Gucci? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's Gucci? Guys, I hope that you are all doing well. Happy newest of years. I'm so happy that you guys made it and you are here today. Hoping that 2021 is going to be better because we cannot do another 2020. So, anywho, I'm sure you guys are wondering what my pin says. It says, today the pin I'm wearing says, no room for racism. And that's on periods. Guys, I am back again with another video today. Please be advised, the topic that we are talking about today is very intense. I know, what a way to open up 2021, but you people, you asked for it. Y'all asked for it. I didn't ask you, and y'all said you wanted this video, so I said I'm gonna give them this video. But yes, please know that viewer discretion is advised. There are words that we will be talking about. The topic that we'll be talking about even is domestic abuse, particularly men as victims of domestic abuse. So please be warned that there will be some words and some phrases that will be used that may that people might find disturbing or triggering. So please do be aware of that. So like I said before, today we'll be talking about men as victims of domestic abuse. Now this is something that is very intense, but I hope that you guys do take the information given in this video, take it as a learning curve, because I remember when I was researching it, although it was very daunting, I took it as, oh my goodness, I'm more sensitive and more aware of the things that are going on within society, and I was able to give out more information about helplines to call and different things and things to do when you're in this situation. So please do not find this video do not find it, of course it's daunting, but do not find it as a discouragement, but rather as a way that you can now say, okay, now I know what's going on, I'm educated on it. And of course you can be further educated by reading some other articles that I will link below. But as well as this, I'm educated on this now, and I can go out and like spread more awareness of it. And the more awareness, you will be able to reach someone who's in this situation, and they'll be able to know what to do, what helplines to call, and what websites to visit if they're in this situation. And that's the beauty of education, that when we learn something, we are able to then help others as well as ourselves. So let's kickstart this with a definition. So domestic violence or domestic abuse can be defined as when one person basically inflicts violence or abuse towards another person. It's just as simple as that. Now, what's not simple is that they are different forms of domestic abuse. And when it comes to men in particular, statistics have shown that 57% of them are more likely to be domestically abused in a way that is non-physical. So this would mean they are financially abused, emotionally abused, or verbally abused. Unlike sexual abuse, the statistics show that this lies at 0.5%, which is still a very unsettling number. Now, because of the typical ways that men face domestic abuse, it makes it difficult for them to recognize that they are actually being abused. So one of the ways that this shows non-physical abuse, or one of the ways in which non-physical abuse is shown, is through the idea of intimidation. Now this can be extremely difficult, especially in a relationship between a man and a woman, because men, some of them, not all of them, some of them believe that they cannot be intimidated by women, whether this is because of what their culture says or what the society says, whatever. Either way, it makes it very difficult for them to recognize that, oh my God, this person is actually intimidating me. Or even if they do feel that they are being intimidated, they find it hard to confess this or admit this, because it shows that, you know, they're not, well, they believe that it shows, or society makes it seem as though they're not masculine enough because they're being intimidated by another person. This makes it difficult for them to reach out and find help from somebody else. The next would be repeated belittling all the time. This would be classed as emotional or psychological abuse, because that is the area in which it is targeting. It is messing with someone's self-esteem and how they see themselves, so that way you could class it as emotional abuse. The next example would be the idea of not being allowed to spend money unless you are permitted to. This would be classed as financial abuse, because you're restricting someone's financial freedom, making them dependent on you, which like I said, is financial abuse in itself. Now, the next question we should begin to ask ourselves is why these people do not come out. Now, obviously, I'm not a man and I have not gone through domestic abuse as a man or in any shape, way or form. But having done some research, I have been able to read some stories of people that have been brave enough to open about their experiences. And one of the few things that I realized was the idea of the fear of seeming weak. Like I said before, the idea that someone is holding back your money when you are the breadwinner of the house or supposed to be the breadwinner of the house as a man, or the idea that someone is intimidating you, makes them feel as though they are less manly, because society says that a man should be a breadwinner, a man should be this, a man should be that. So if you are being restricted through abuse and you are unable to now fulfill those duties, a lot of people then feel as though they are weak and they don't want to seem this way. Now, another reason why some men do not speak out is actually completely the opposite of the first point, and it is the idea of not seeming like the perpetrator. A lot of men are threatened by the person who was doing the abusing, that, oh, if you go out and you say that I abused you and do this, they'll automatically think it's you, or I'll make them think that it was you because you're the man in the relationship. It's most likely going to be you based on what different cases of abuse have said. It's most likely the man who does the abusing. No one's going to believe you. Da 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 da. So all these things are said to the victim, and that makes them sometimes believe that, oh my God, if I do come out now and say that I'm being abused by this person, then it is possible that the courts are going to turn it around on me. So that is a big issue why some people do not come out and actually confess their situation. And the next thing that I read was just trying to make it work, especially when they're in a marriage or they have children. They do feel some sort of loyalty to this situation, so they do feel that they can work it out, or they will eventually. This is just a rough patch. A lot of people also threaten the victim that if they leave the situation, they will not see their children again. So this is why a lot of people would decide to then stay for the sake of their children as well. So now that we're a bit more aware of things that are going on in terms of domestic abuse towards men, now we need to make a change as a society. So the first thing I would suggest is to raise awareness. Guys, it is so important because this is a massive issue that is affecting many men around the world every single day. And the craziest thing is it's affecting men of different ages as well. I remember watching this interview on ITV. I'll try and link it below if I can find it. But I was watching that, and there was this young man who was talking about the abusive relationship he was in. And he gave an example of how this girl poured hot water on him, and then his back was burning. And she asked him for back cream or some burn cream. As they went outside, she forced him to go outside with him, and she was like, no, I'm not letting you get burn cream. And the pain was so severe that he had to just take it from a shop and apply it towards him, on his back, sorry. And this is just a young man who was about 20. He was definitely in his very mid-20s. So that just shows you this is something that is affecting the young and the old and all the in-between. So raising awareness would mean educating yourself as well, trying to get rid of some of our predisposed biases when it comes to men as victims of domestic abuse. Because as we know, the large majority of cases that we hear are women. Not saying that women do not face it, because they do, but the large majority we hear are women. There are also men who are going through it as well, and it is so important for us to educate ourselves and not have this predisposed idea that men are too manly to face domestic abuse. And that comes through reading articles, reading people's stories. Guys, there are so many out there, especially on some of the pages that I'll link below that are helplines. There are so many examples of stories of things that people have gone through as well. So I would really urge you to all read and just get more knowledgeable. The more we do that as individuals, the more we will eventually change society. Now, before we were looking at some of the examples why men don't come out as being abused, and it's because of society and what society says a man should be. So if we educate ourselves and we say, okay, men actually do face this, then interestingly, surprisingly, we are society. So the more we change ourselves, the more we change society as a whole. As well as this, raising awareness would mean that letting people know of the few options that are out there when it comes to help help services and helplines that they can talk to, especially those who are going through this issue, whether it be financial, whether it be physical, emotional, psychological. We need to make sure we are spreading a load of helplines that would be able to help them in their situation. And last but not least, guys, if you know anyone who has gone through this, any man who has gone through this, please take it upon yourself to make them know that it is okay. What they've gone through is something that no human should ever go through, but it is something that they can talk about. It is something that they should know, that they are not too manly or not too anything that society tells them to feel vulnerable, because that is what a lot of these people feel once they experience this. They feel vulnerable, they feel sad, emotionally distraught, and let them know that these emotions are okay, they are normal, they are something that they should be experiencing because they've experienced a traumatic event. So please be there for them. If you cannot listen to it either because it's triggering or for other reasons, please do usher them to a helpline that will be able to give them all the assistance that they need. So that is it from me today, guys. I hope that you guys did learn something new from this video. As always, I would always suggest please do further reading, because the information that I've given you is very insy-binsy compared to the massive amount of information out there on the Doodle. So please do make sure you do a little bit of extra reading if you can. This is not homework, guys. This is just something to expand your mind and just be a bit more aware of the situation. Like I said before, I will be adding links and helplines in the description. If you know of anyone, or if you are someone yourself and you do need to get out of this situation, I'm letting you know now that you are able to get out. Just reach out to anybody within that helpline that I will put in the description, and they will be able to help you. Other than that, guys, I will be back again next week with another video, so be sure to be subscribed, turn on the notification bell so you guys are aware of when I post another video. And yeah, do follow me on Instagram as well for the midweek Tuesday videos, and the Friday I'm starting educational reels now, guys, because that's what you wanted, so that's what I'm gonna start. But please be sure to follow me on the gram as well. There is a lot of stuff that I put, you know, on the gram: weekly quizzes, photos of myself. But yeah, please be sure to follow me on there. Other than that, I will see you next week. Have a fantastic week, and bye, guys.